we have got the co-main event. Alexander Volkanovski taking on Max Blessed Express Holloway. Judd, I'm going to start with you on this one, man. Tell me what you're feeling.
I don't understand how this is not the main event of a massive card. I mean, the first fight was insane. First fight was great. I don't know what to think about the second fight because of Max, to be honest. Alexander, I thought he won the first fight. I thought it was a clear win in the first fight. And then after the fight, to hear Max go, "Oh, you guys cared about the leg kicks? Oh, if I'd have known that, I would have done something different." I'm like, what are you talking about? So who knows? I mean, I tend to believe him. I honestly thought that was coming from the heart. He was going, "Yeah, I was fine with the leg kicks. I didn't think about them bothering me when it came to the scorecards." But so if Max checks a kick, what happens next? I don't know. These guys are both world destroyers. These are generational talents that just happen to be at the same weight class at the same time. Max is younger. He's got more experience, but who knows what happens in this fight. Alexander comes from a great camp, so I'm sure he's going to be ready for this. I don't think he's got any question that he's got to beat Max again before he's, the champ, for serious. Everybody wants to see what Max is going to do, and if the blessed train is stopped or not. Love Max. And the idea that Max is going to give you plus 165 is wild, unless you have seen Alexander. You know what I mean? But I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. I'm basically allergic to favorites, especially when I'm not sure one way or the other. So I'm leaning towards throwing something at Max in this fight. But I'm so jacked to watch this fight because either we're going to see Alexander become one of the staples of the UFC, one of the monsters who's going to clean out a division if he beats Max a second time, or we're going to see Max come back and reinstitute himself at the top of this division and maybe see a trilogy fight afterwards. I mean, so excited for this fight. I mean, on the news today, we're out here in Arizona and they're talking about shutting stuff down and going back into a lockdown scenario. And I'm going, bless you, Dana White. You are saving us in 2020.
Absolutely. Giving us something to look forward to and something to do on a weekend. We can argue the entire week about the fights to entertain ourselves, and then we got something to watch on Saturday. Thank you, UFC.
And thank you for last weekend's picks. I got the diehard stimulus check, basically, and I'm just loving life,
I'm going to, you know what? That's another T-shirt, the diehard stimulus check. I like that.
They're paying off more student loans than Elizabeth Warren even dreams about doing. Yeah. What changes in this fight? Who adopts a different strategy?
Exactly. Yeah. So you know what, man? I was on Max the first time, and I agree with you. The first fight was close, it was competitive, but it was clear. I absolutely believe that Volkanovski won that first fight, and I think he rightfully did so. He took the title. He beat one of the best, probably the best this division has ever seen, and it's a really weird situation where the taller fighter seemed to struggle with the range of the shorter fighter. Both these guys are so skilled, so elite. This is next level MMA, and I'm so happy we're going to get the opportunity to watch a rematch for this one, and I'm going to bet that we get a trilogy out of it, my guy. I'm not pulling the trigger yet, but I'm going to be on Max Holloway. The fact that this fight was a pick'em the last time around, the fact that when you look at the fight, and again, like Max said, if you cared about the leg kicks, I'd have done something. We look at the significant strikes. Volkanovski landed 157 to Max's 134. I mean, that's incredibly close for a 25-minute slugfest. I think that Max is young enough to make the appropriate adjustments. He's only 28 years old. We talk about these guys that have been in the game forever. He's fought Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. Look what Dustin Poirier did just a couple days ago. He took out that next wave of contender. He took out that new blood because he's constantly improving and making changes. I think Blessed is that kind of a guy. I think he'll be able to game plan differently now that he's been in there with Volkanovski. He's seen what he can do. He'll make the right adjustments and use that height and reach advantage. Volkanovski, he's incredible. He's in a good camp himself. I can't say that he won't make adjustments. Obviously, he's going to come in with a different game plan as well. But I think this fight is insanely close. So I think the people looking at this fight and going, Volkanovski is the king from now until forever off of that one fight, I just think it's too much. I'm not saying you're wrong. He may have a long reign. Volkanovski may be the new king and go undefeated for 6 fights in a row. But I'm not that sold on him over Max Holloway just yet. I think Max can do a lot of things differently and make this fight very competitive. So even if he loses, I think getting damn near 2-1 on Max Holloway is about as good of a bet as you'll ever get. He's sitting at plus 180 right now, and I know the world's on Volkanovski. I'm biding my time, folks. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait, because if I can get 2-1 or plus 190, something like that on Max Holloway, your boy's all in.
Yep. Well, both these guys are all caps badasses. I mean, they just are. Now, one thing I was kind of surprised by when I looked back at Max's record, he had 4 fights in a 12-month window leading into this fight. One of those fights was going up and taking an absolute beating from Dustin Poirier. I wonder, what Max looks like when he's had some time off, when he's back in the gym, letting everything clean up, spending that time getting himself right. I wonder if we get a different Max. I wonder if that wore on him a bit, because we didn't see him outpacing Alexander. And Max normally has a gas tank 4 days, but Alexander looked like he was siphoning that gas in the last fight a little bit. It wasn't like Max wasn't there. It was just that Alexander had more. His gas pedal, he had both feet on that sucker. He was just going. And when Max tried to turn it up, he had an extra notch. I don't know if that's going to be the case now that Max has had a chance to rest up. He's not coming off of that brutal fight with Poirier. He hasn't had 4 fights in a 12-month window. I wonder if we're going to see the return of Max here. And at 2-1, why wouldn't you have a little bit of action after?
Exactly. I haven't seen anything to warrant Volkanovski as big of a favorite as he is. And that's all it comes down to. If you want to say he should be the favorite, respect the champ, you go for it. He won the last fight, rightfully so. But I don't see Max being a 2-1 dog to anybody in that division. So I'm going to end up taking that shot. You just wait.